Okay, so let's wrap up this series on what I liked about past agents that I have used when I was either buying or selling a home. And this one we'll start with B. She was my agent in the Baltimore area. After I ditched one agent who became lost and he couldn't find the property and he didn't really know where the rest of them were. I think he was new in town, a new agent, and just did not really know what he was doing. And I didn't have that time to spend as I was only there for 3 days. I'd left my children with a babysitter and I needed to find a house that weekend. That's just the way I rolled back in the day. Would find a house in 3 days or else. So that did not go so well. And so I was at the hotel that Saturday morning, and I was having a leisurely morning, and I was checking the Baltimore Sun for open houses. I decided I think I'm going to have to do this on my own. And I was scrolling through them, sipping my tea, and hoping that I would find something when I came upon an ad for an open house. And it sounded fabulous. There were no pictures. It was just a small little classified ad. And it was going to be that afternoon from 1 to 4, I believe. I quickly called my husband at the time and said, I know you said you'd be back around 2 or 3, but could you make it a little earlier if possible? There's an open house that I really want to see. It sounds good. I've looked it up on the map. Yeah, we had to use a map back in the day. And I think it's in a good location for your work and also for getting to the Beltway and getting around Baltimore area and D.C. So he said he would be there, and he was. So we went to this open house. Now, I know you say no one ever buys an open house never buys a house at an open house, but I can prove you wrong, because that is exactly what we did. We pulled up, it was at a cul-de-sac down a big hill, and at the bottom of the cul-de-sac, there was this gorgeous Williamsburg home, 3-car garage, tennis court in the backyard, 2.5 acres, and I'm like, oh my Lord, I did not expect to find this at an open house. Didn't even have a photo of the house. Anyway, we went in. It was a little dated, but not bad. It had a lot of character, and you know me and character, and it had space for my boys to roam around. So, yes, we did. The agent that was there holding it open, when we said, we want to make an offer on this, he became flustered, found out that he was a teacher making some extra money on the weekend by holding open houses for B. So he quickly called B, and B shows up, contract in hand. B writes it up. She submits it to the sellers as soon as they get home from the open house. We barely got out of there, finished signing the offer. Yes, this was long before e-signatures. And B called us that night and said, they've accepted your offer. So just like that, B got it together, put it together, and sealed the deal. And I flew back the next morning to Maine to wrap up selling that property. And this was an agent who really took control. She got it done. She stayed with it there on a Saturday night until she had everything completed. Forget about quitting at 5, not in this job. You get it done, and B was certainly one to get it done. The rest of my houses, they sold so quickly that I really don't have much about the selling story on them. And it seemed like they were in escrow in just a matter of days. So not too much more to go on with that. But those are the top agents that I've encountered in my lifetime of buying and selling properties long before I became a real estate professional. And did they set some guidelines for me? Did I learn from them? Absolutely. A good agent is hard to find, and when you do, if you're new at this, then you need to model yourself after that agent in whatever way that you're impressed with, because believe me, if you're impressed by it, it will impress other clients as well. That wraps it up, all the agents that I have really loved and what I loved about them from my past.